Okay.
Okay, good evening ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. So today I have my friend here, Andrew Ng. So today we are going to share his experience about his ownership of two W211 Mercedes-Benz E-Class. So Andrew, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Andre Ng, and a lot of you previously know me from my Iris videos. So right now I'm so indulged into W211 ownership that I kind of forget the Iris already, but I still have to say that I can't forget my roots, you know. And if it's not because of the Iris, it wouldn't have garnered, it wouldn't have gathered the kind of fame, you know, and the awareness that people have about me and my channel over the years.
Okay, so now let's start with our first question. How long have you been owning the two W211?
Okay, so I have a Japan spec W211 and the other one is a UK spec W211. So we owned the Japan spec in 2019 May, and then after that the UK spec came to the picture in February 2021.
Okay, so how much you bought for the Japan spec model?
The Japan spec costed us 26,000.
And what's the variant of it?
It's the elegance trim, you know.
E240.
E240. Yeah.
Okay, so how about the UK spec?
UK spec is E240 as well, same engine, same transmission. It's also in the elegance trim, but there's something to note, you know, because like both cars are although elegance spec, you know, they come in a very different form factor lah. So when you step inside Japan spec, right, you can notice that the entire interior is finished in black color, you know, and the seats are fabric. So when it comes to the UK spec, it is leather seats and the interior color is mostly beige color. So it feels very upmarket prestige when it comes to the UK spec model. And for the Japan spec model, it feels a bit sportier, although it's an elegance model. Yeah.
Okay, so now the most important question that many people will ask.
Yeah.
Why you go for W211 instead of its competitor, the E60 or even Audi A6?
Okay, so I think that most Malaysians will only eye on these two brands. So in terms of Audi, nobody actually has a preference over it, although Audi cars are really good. So my father is a person who likes Mercedes cars more, you know, because BMW is not something that the older generation favors.
Yep.
Yeah. So he only looks at Mercedes cars, and you know, we wanted something. We wanted an upgrade from the Safiro 832 that we had before. So we were like looking around on Muda, and then we found this Japan spec W211. So we just went for it, you know, because like we could have gone for a W210, but we found that this 211 was quite a nice option. So we just go for it.
So basically E240 has a 2.6 liter V6 engine.
Yeah.
So what's the road tax and the maintenance of it?
Okay, so you're looking at 1,100 ringgit a year for the road tax, and because my family has two W211, so you're talking about paying 2,200 a year for both W211 road tax. So maintenance wise, you got to know what parts to change. You know, you need to look accordingly to the lifespan of every part. You know, the mileage, the suggested mileage for every part. So the famous breakdown point of the W211 pre-facelift would be the SBC breakdown. Okay. So a lot of people will argue that, oh, it's like a 5,000 ringgit part, you know, that eventually breaks down after like 10 to 15 years. Yeah, but if you look around, right, a lot of people, their ABS pump also fails one day. I mean, the ABS never quite failed on the Safiro before, you know, after like 20 over years, you know, the car. So yeah, the SBC is one of the parts that you have to look after lah. So this part is actually also found in the R230 SL, the SL class.
Okay. The classic convertible of Mercedes.
Yeah, and then the C219, the CLS that's based on the E-Class, that car has the SBC pump as well. But the interesting thing about the 211 is that when the facelift came, you know, they removed the SBC brake pump. So that actually lead to lesser hassle for owners, because like the thing about SBC is this, you know, it's not about the cost of replacing it, but the thing is that whenever the system fails, right, you're not able to brake. That's the most crucial part. When our SBC failed, you know, we almost crashed my right, and then the other thing is that you are not able to shift to second gear. It's only stuck in first gear. Okay. The reason to do this is because that it causes the car to be in limp mode so that you don't continue to drive it. Of course, if you're saying that you cannot change the SPC like immediately, right?
Okay.
Sometimes when you off the engine, you're on it back, you know, the SPC works like normal again. You know, because it has to show signs of failure before it actually really fails. Yeah.
Alright. So now moving to our design elements. So what do you think about the design of the W211 over the W210, the W212 and the W213?
I think the W211 is a fantastic car to look at. Of course, nowadays a lot of people like to look at other like nicer cars. You know, you can talk about the new E-Class, you know, or the new CLA. You know, all those cars, I have to admit that they look fantastic, right? But the thing is that you have to understand that not every car ages well, and the W211 really challenges that factor to the extent to the core, you see, because when the W211 came out, right, if you watch its advertisement on YouTube, you know, Mercedes claimed that it is actually the best looking sedan in the world, the best looking car in the world, and I think Mercedes is very aware of what they are claiming, you know, because if you look at every corner of the car, right, you can see that the headlights, they don't look as sleepy as the W210 did.
Yep.
Actually, the front end looks very similar to the 210, just that what they did was that they make it a bit slanted, you know, and they make the car a bit more like a Coke bottle shape. So there are certain angles, you know, of the W211 that looks like the CLK, the C209.
Yep.
It actually looks kind of like a 4-door Mercedes SL. You know, so if anybody of you just changes the grille to the CL style grille, and you remove the 3-pointed star, you know, and you maybe add some more upmarket wheels, you know, it really does look like an SL. But coming back to the 211 itself, I think that even for now, right, a lot of people across the world, they are claiming that the 211 looks really, really good. So it depends on what kind of 211 you're looking for. Like a lot of people who get a 211 nowadays, you know, because the E240 is actually one of the cheapest 211s that you can get.
Yeah.
If you're talking about the facelifted version, like the E280, the E230, right? I mean, they're still going for 50,000. Before that, they were like 35,000 in maybe last year or 2019. But because of the pandemic, you know, chip shortage, you know, people are going for used cars and everything.
Yeah,
so
the value goes up.
The value went up, and it's quite difficult to acquire those variants right now. So we're talking about even the E240 rose in value. Some are actually touching the 30,000 mark when it was actually like 20 over thousand in the past. So when people buy an E240 or any W211, maybe an E200 compressor with the M111 engine, so what they do is that they just change the bumper to the E63 bumper.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not like pointing fingers at only W211 owners, but a lot of E60 people, you know, they
convert to M5. Yeah, M5.
I mean, some people, they get the 530i, which already comes with M Sport body kit.
M Sport trim.
People, when they get this car, right, they know the modification potential of the exterior. Yeah, I mean, the exterior of the car, so you can put in nicer rims, you know, nicer bumper and everything. So, I mean, it looks good in a few different ways that we talk about it.
Yeah, this all depends on personal preference. Yeah. So now moving to our maintenance. What's the maintenance of the engine? Or the car itself?
You're looking at the M112 engine, which is a single cam, 18 valve engine. And the beautiful thing about this engine is that it has 12 spark plugs.
Okay.
So you can't think of it like a Pedana V6 6A12 engine or the Safiro's VQ20DB engine, because you're talking about 12 spark plugs to change. And now my family has 2 of these cars. So if you do the math, 12 times 2, 24 plugs to change, maybe every 2 years or 3 years like that. Yeah, you have to be aware of when to change the spark plug to maintain the performance of the car.
Alright.
So if you're moving on to other things like the air filter, you know, air filter of this car just costs 75 a pair. You know, so it's not like everything costs a lot to maintain. It's just that you have to make everything very periodic, you know. It's like, you have to be aware when is the next time that you have to change certain parts of that. In terms of suspension, the sash absorber costs 300 per piece. So a pair is 600. Alright. So I mean, like if you're talking about cars like the CLA nowadays, or maybe the W205 C-Class, right? Maintenance is actually quite similar to the W211. So actually the 211 is not that bad to maintain. It's just that you need some spare cash for
compared to E60, which has quite some issue of the engine. The W211 is actually considered quite a reliable sort of modern German car you can get.
I mean, if you're talking about the facelifted W211, or maybe the year before it got the facelift, right? The year before it got facelifted, right? So they introduced the M272 engine, which if you look aside its reliability issues, right, it's actually better than the M112 engine. Because if you look at the M112, right, the laughable part of the engine is that it's only single cam. You know, because like even my dad's Zafiro in the past was twin cam.
Twin cam means better power in higher speed.
Higher speed, yeah, correct. So there are times that the M112 E26 engine, right, you can feel that it lacks breath when you go up to higher speeds. You know, it's not to say that it can't reach 200 km/h, but the thing is that you want to see how long it takes to reach that speed. You know, and the single cam character really presents itself during hard driving styles.
Alright, so now moving to our last section, which is, would you recommend the W211 for some newbies who want to try a German luxury executive sedan?
I'll say that it really depends on what you look at it, because my father had an E280 W210 before. So the thing about the W210 is that it really feels unique, it feels different, because the W211, I heard from some people, you know, they say that the car feels a bit normal, it doesn't have the Mercedes feel. Some argue that the W211 is the last generation of real Mercedes cars. Okay. So it really looks at it depends on how you look at it. For me, I would say that it is very important to choose the right trim. You know, because for me, if I were to choose again, right, I would go for an avant-garde trim. Why? Because it has panel sunroof. Okay. And for those who don't know, right, the W211 is actually the first car in the world to have a panoramic sunroof. Yeah. So a lot of cars nowadays, like the GLC, you know, wherever you see panel sunroof, but you have to know who started that trend.
Which is the W211.
Yeah. So then moving back to the W210, yeah. I mean, W210 really felt like it has its own character, you know. Then the W211, on the other hand, feels like it tries not to be a Mercedes-Benz, you know. Then at times it feels it tries to be a Mercedes-Benz again. So it depends on what you're looking at.
Yep. Alright, so now that's the end of the topic of Andrew Ng talking about his W211. So if you like this talking series, make sure to subscribe, like and share my channel, and also subscribe my buddy's channel, Andrew Ng. I'll put his link in the description below. So I will see you in my next video. Cheers.